Noodles I'm going to start making. If I take one of those beautiful little, it's a sine curve. It's not spaghetti, so it doesn't go on like this. So it's a sine curve that starts from here, 0 degree, to 90 degree, to 180 degree. And before I eat it all, the noodles, when one strand of the noodles, or let's just say spaghetti, yeah? Maybe the noodle strand is a little longer, so it goes all the way like this until here. Okay, this goes to, this is not 90, this is 90, this is 90, this is 90, and this is 180, this is 270. They're all degrees, and this is 360, but this bit is 1, and this goes on, yeah, 90, 360, 450, and 540 degrees, not radians. So radians would be pi by 2. Pi is irrational. I love it. 3.141, etc. So pi by 2 is equal to 90 degrees. Pi by 2 radians. So you would convert radians to degrees as pi radians is 180 degrees. Rad on the calculator, and big on the calculator, on the Google calculator too. You can switch from radians to degrees. So leaving that aside, keeping it in degrees, the noodles, before I eat it, or maybe I ate everything and gave you some, and there was one strand remaining, and it's not spaghetti, or even if it was, ate part of it and have this remaining, yeah? So sine 90 degree is 1. So the value of sine, the sine curve, trigonometry, from 0 degree goes all the way up to 1 in 90 degree, comes down to 0 again in 180 degree, and goes to negative until it becomes -1. Let's keep the colors standard, and goes on to 0 again in 360 degree. 360 degree, sine 360 is the same as sine 0, which is 0, yeah? Sine 360 and sine 0 is 0. Unlike the cos curve, which would be like this, but we won't get into that now. We will think of the unit circle, which is, unit means 1 and circle is circle, yeah? The huge 0 that has the y-axis and the x-axis, and start from 0 to 90 to 180 to, something is wrong, 270, and back to 0, which is 360 degree. So on the unit circle you would have, I like playing with my noodles once in a while, but as I've grown older, I just enjoy a good meal. I play with my food less. I see my daughter playing with it when she can. So the unit circle has radius 1, and the value of the y coordinate and the value of the x coordinate, x coordinate would be, sine would be theta, yeah? And sine theta in a triangle, right angle triangle, theta is opposite side by hypotenuse, which is the y coordinate, and the hypotenuse, the side opposite to the 90 degree, as 1. So in essence, in a sine, the sine ratio of a unit circle is the y coordinate. And you know why it is? Because sine theta is in a right angle triangle. Opposite side, the opposite of the angle, which is the y coordinate, y coordinate, divided by the hypotenuse, which is 1. Hypotenuse is the side opposite to the 90 degree. I like the Pythagoras theorem too. The Pythagoras theorem, which is based on the 90 degree triangle, is the idea that the square of the hypotenuse is the hypotenuse, hypotenuse, the side opposite 90 degree. The square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the, well, you could say legs of the right angle triangle, the other two sides. So let's call the hypotenuse C, yeah? And is kind of the ABC of Pythagoras. Pythagoras, the wonderful scientist. I actually feel like showing you the face of Pythagoras. I remember seeing it. That's my website, abhishek.com. So Pythagoras, yeah, that's Pythagoras, the Greek philosopher. Yeah, this picture kind of stays in my mind. So yeah, it's cool. Pythagoras. And he, I think 2000 years ago, about 2500 years ago. 2500 years ago. Yeah, and we know his theorem now and used all over in mathematics. Pythagoras of Samos. I wonder where Samos is. We'll just check Samos. Yeah, Samos. Samos, an island in the Asian Sea. Where is Asian? Samos. Where is Samos? It's Europe for sure. It's not too far away from Dubai where I am now. Samos, an island, must be Greek. Yeah, Greece. Yeah. Pythagoras. There's actually a place that is named after the great Pythagoras. That's that, yeah. But in terms of the ABCs of what hopefully is not Greek to you, theorems, the Pythagoras theorem, for example, if this is say 5 and this is 12, you could find this side here by doing 5 square plus 12 square is equal to, say, x square, an unknown square, and you would add these 25 and 144s. These numbers are kind of imprinted in my mind because I've gone through the process of 5 squares 25, 12 squares 144, 15 squares 225, etc., etc. And you add these and go 169, which is 13 square, which is square root of 169. You can put that in a calculator. I like the Google calculator, it's wonderful. You want me to show you the Google calculator? I'll show you the Google calculator. It's beautiful. So the Google calculator calculator on Google is so beautiful. And if you go sideways, I think my screen doesn't. Let me double check if I can change portrait. Yeah. Check this out. The Google calculator has all these. Remember, I was talking about radians and degrees. So degrees, and you do sine 90, what we were talking about earlier, is 1. Yeah, but you change it to radians and go with sine 90, you won't get the same answer, because 90 in this case is radians, a kind of a multiple of pi that you need to recognize, unless of course you don't want to, and just see me go ta 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 ta. There are 8, not even lines, they are arcs, which could be in some sense parts of a parabola, which is a quadratic equation. Yeah, so a quadratic would mean to square. So like say 2x square plus 5x minus 3 is a quadratic because there's an x square. Yeah, unlike say 2x plus 5, which is a linear expression because there's no equal to, but equal to y makes it a linear equation. To the power 1 equal to y makes it a quadratic. Think square when you think quadratic equation, which when graphed would give you this. Yeah, this actually would give you a negative, say negative 2x squared plus something because of the nature of the curve. Let's end with something related to noodles, because I need to start cooking soon. I'm going to cook some eggs with noodles. So noodles is going to go to, which is not a sine curve unless of course you go like this. Yeah, something like that. That's an S. But the sine curve goes like this, and the exit I'm going to make, see, white and yellow, is going to be a shape like this. Maybe I'm going to make 2 eggs and an irregular shape like this. You could find the area if you split it into curves. Let's go with something a little complicated, okay? Split this into curves, and let's say we have a function for this part and a function for this other part, and what we would do is integrate a little bit of calculus, integrate the function f of x, this function of the arrows, between here and here. Integrate meaning get all of them together between points a and b dx, and do it separately for this part here also, so that integrate from a to b, this part in the bottom, say g of x, another function g of x dx. But you know what would happen? This part here would give you a negative answer, this part a positive answer. So the solution to that would be so wonderfully absolute value plus absolute value. So absolute value is taking only the positive part of the number in this case. Yeah, so minus 8 absolute value is equal to 8, also called modulus absolute value. So modulus value of 8 would also be 8 because it's already positive. And after adding the 2, it would all vanish because I would eat it all. Yummy. Tata. Eat well too.